Om Shuklam Baradaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayed Sarvabhignopashantaye Guru Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Kanchi Vasaya Vidmahe Shantarupaya Dhimahi Tanno Chandrasekharendra Prachodayad. Namaste. Welcome you all for the workshop on theory and practice of pranayama. This is the follow-up of our level 1 course on Yama Niyama Asana. So in Astanga Yoga of sage Patanjali, there are 8-fold paths: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. We had completed the level 1 course and today is the day 1 of the level 2 course on the theory and practice of pranayama. So in order to know the basics of this pranayama, first we will look at some background material as to what is this pranayama is all about, what are the theoretical insights into this pranayama. Pranayama is mentioned in many of the Vedic literature. Chandogya Upanishad, Sarvani va imani bhutani pranamevabhi samvishanti pranamabhyujjihate. It means in prana all movable and immovable beings merge during dissolution and rise out of prana during creation. It means prana is the primordial phenomena that is existing. Kathopanishad says, Yadidam kim cha jagat sarvam prana yejati nismratam. This whole world, whatever there is, vibrates having originated from prana. Shiva Sarvodaya, Shiva Swarodaya. In this, Devi asked Shiva, in this universe, who is the greatest friend of man? For which Shiva replies very meaningfully, Pranayeva param mitram pranayeva parah sakha pranatulyaha paro bandhur nasti nasti varanane. Prana is the greatest friend. Prana is the greatest companion. Addressing Devi, he says, O fair one, there is no closer friend in this universe than prana. I think this is something that we need to understand. Indeed, prana is the one that decides our existence or otherwise. Therefore, controlling this pranayama is very, very important. Controlling the prana. That is the whole gamut of pranayama. So pranayama generally can be understood as prana plus ayama. Ayama means broaden or expand. So what to expand? Expand this individual prana that is inside us, expand it so that it merges with the universal pranic energy. That is the ultimate state of yoga also in some sense. Other meaning is prana plus yama. Yama means to control. Pranayama means to gain control over the pranic energy within us and direct it appropriately for our psychophysiological and spiritual progress and well-being. Scriptures also identify pancha pranas: prana, apana, udana, samana, and vyana. We will not go into those details, but all these things, in some sense, can be controlled via our breathing. That is the most significant find out of our great wise yogis, so that we can actually control them. And this breathing is the pathway to control the prana, channelize them. So breath is gross and prana is subtle. So in essence, pranayama means controlling the breath. So before we look at what is the mechanism to start these techniques, we shall do some preliminary postures to help the practice of pranayama. So for this, just lie on your back, fold both legs, stretch both arms up, keep the heels closer to the hips, press the feet about 6 inches apart, tighten the back of both the thighs, watch your breathing, breathe abdominally. As we inhale, abdominal cavity should expand all around. As we exhale, it should contract. So with inhalation, the bottom of the abdomen, middle and top of the abdomen cavity should expand. With exhalation, the abdominal cavity has to contract. Sensitize the back muscles also to the breathing. Now rise your right leg up, pull the kneecap, stretch the heel, press the right foot, fold down, left leg up, pull the kneecaps, stretch the toes, flatten the sacrum onto the mat, fold down. One more time, right leg up, leg straight, feel the muscles around the hips and the lower back, fold down, left leg up, pull the kneecap. This is a very good moment for stretching the hamstrings and the calf muscle, the Achilles tendon, the calf muscle, and hamstrings are in a kinetic chain. So this stretch also benefits the back. Fold down,
Next one, right leg up, fold, hold the knee, press the knee closer to the chest, stretch the toes, tighten the back of both the thighs, breathe with awareness. Release. Right leg, change. Left leg up, fold, hold the knee, press the knee closer to the chest. So this helps to tone the gluteal minimus and medius muscles, also helps the lower back. Down. One more time, right leg up, fold, hold the knee, press the knee closer to the chest. Sensitize the back muscles to the breathing, very important. The lumbar fascia, the thick skin on your lower back, that also responds to breathing. You should watch. Release. Right leg, left leg up. Fold, hold the knee, press the knee closer to the chest. Flatten the sacrum. Release. Left leg down. The next one, right leg up. Fold from left hand, hold the ankle joint, pull it, and from right hand, push the knee across the chest. Tighten the back of both the thighs, strike the heel. Release. Right leg, left leg up, fold, hold the ankle joint. From right hand, pull it, press the knee across the chest from the left hand, stretch the toes, flatten the sacrum onto the mat. That's very important to enhance the stretch. Release. Left leg, one more time, right leg up, fold, hold the ankle joint. From the left hand, pull it. From the right hand, press the knee across the chest. Release. Right leg, left leg up, fold, hold the ankle joint, pull it, press the knee across the chest. A very good stretch for the gluteal maximus muscle. So these postures help to tone the major muscles around the lumbar, pelvis, and hip complex. Release. Left leg, slowly get up from the right side.
Now, for sitting, you can use a folded blanket or a pillow. Hips on the pillow, legs down. So this helps to sit upright. That is very important. And in general, we are going to sit in the Gnana Mudra. tip of the thumb and index finger in contact, palm facing upward, chest and navel up. So sitting at a height helps you to keep the trunk upright. You can sit in Swastikasana, Vajrasana, Virasana, Padmasana, what as comfortable to you, but it should be comfortable. Very important. If you cannot sit on the floor, you can also sit on a chair. So now we will look at the basics of how to start this whole process of pranayama. What is the theoretical background towards that? Now all these pancha pranas and pancha upapranas can be controlled using the breathing. And breathing is very, very important. Hatha Yoga Pradipika says, Chale vate chalam chittam nischale nischalam bhavet yogi sthanutmanapnoti tato vayum nirodayet. If the breath is disturbed, mind is disturbed. A yogi therefore controls the breath to control the mind. What is the starting point? In fact, starting point is very, very, very simple, highly efficient. What is that? Just watch your breath. Simply watching the breath. It can shoot the stress, it can annihilate anxiety, it can do away with depression, and the best way to welcome wellness is watch the breath. And this is a gateway to calm the mind. And the attraction is that it is simplest technique, it is safest technique, it is self-administrable technique. You don't have to depend on anybody, anything. And it is the do-all technique. Anyone can practice this. Therefore, do not neglect and follow this. You can see a lot of research being done on what is called as mindful breathing. Mindful breath awareness meditation may lead to refinements of attention networks, enabling more efficient use of attentional resources. This is one of the findings which implies that mind can become very calm using just watching the breath. There is another paper which you can see, another research paper which says about mindfulness breathing. We should know what is mindfulness is. It is a non-elaborative, non-judgmental awareness of the present moment. And the most happening thing in the present for everyone is the breathing, and just watching the breath intensely helps us to be in the present and thus calms the mind. And this helps in pain management. That's the main finding of this paper. Because today, pain of whatever kind it is, a lot of people are drug dependent, and mindful breathing technique is very helpful in significantly reducing these pains. So a lot of clinical studies have been done, and mindfulness meditation, that is watching the breath, significantly attenuates pain, and this is very important. Also look at the statement of Bhagavan Ravana. He says, when we watch where from the I thought, the root of all thought springs, we are necessarily watching the source of breath also, as the I thought and the breath arise from the same source. So watching the breath is the gateway, not only for physical, psychological well-being, but also for spiritual well-being. So where do we start? Obviously, we should look at the entry and exit, that is the nose. So now sit upright, just follow me. Initially you may keep the eyes open so that you will get to know some of the details about how to watch the breath. Later, once you get used to, you can do it with eyes closed. Just watch the breath, sit comfortably in the posture, have postural awareness, and simply pay attention to the incoming and outgoing breath. You don't have to really control the breath, you simply have to watch the incoming and outgoing breath. Watch the breath going in and coming out. When the air goes in, before it comes out, there is a transition pause. Watch that. Similarly, when the air comes out, before it goes in, there is a transitory pause. Pay attention. If you do that, you will observe that the natural breathing itself becomes slow, steady, and enjoyable. And this starts from the nose. Nose does a lot of things for us. It is one of the things that defines the beauty of a person, but beyond that, it helps in our speech, it helps also in our, of course, it's one of the main organ for giving us the sensation of smell. Not just that, it does a lot more than that, because the vital nadis or the energy pathways are located in the nostrils, the Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi in the right and left nostril respectively. They stimulate all our chakras, all our endocrine glands are stimulated if we watchfully breathe. So this is important. So what do you mean by watchfully breathe? Now watch your nasal cavity. We have two nasal cavities. Is the flow of breath even in both the nasal cavities? That is the first thing. We should understand this aspect of nasal dominance. So which nostril is dominant? Can you find out? Is the right nostril or the left nostril? Which one is actually dominant? Where the flow of air, incoming and outgoing, is predominant, or is one of the nostril partially open or fully open, or is it blocked? Just observe. Don't try to control anything. Just observe. This is first thing. Second thing you have to watch is, you see, your nasal cavity can be divided into 5 divisions: the medial edge, lateral edge, top edge, bottom edge, and the center, that nasal opening. Now, where this incoming air and outgoing air touching this nasal cavity, which portion is it dominantly touching? Just watch, pay attention, nothing else. Exclude all other thoughts. Just attend to this incoming and outgoing breath. And when it enters through right nostril or left nostril, whatever, you should also know that it is stimulating the nadis. There are two important nadis which we will also look at when we discuss the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama later in the workshop. But you should understand that right there is the Pingala or Surya Nadi, which stimulates the left side of the brain, and on the left nostril is located the Ida or Chandra Nadi, which stimulates the right side of the brain. And this also has a lot of health impacts. You just have to pay attention. Next, watch as the air moves in. What is happening? Is it more touching on the floor of the nasal cavity, or the roof of the nasal cavity, or the lateral wall, or the medial wall? You know, there are two walls. Wall at the center, that the septum, that is the medial wall, and the wall that is outside, that is the outer portion, in the sense inside the cavity but exterior to the medial wall or the septal wall is the lateral wall. Where is it touching? You should observe. And also there are what is called as turbinates. As you can see here, you can actually feel them when you inhale. These three blade like structures are there. They are covered with mucous membranes, and when they go, the air goes here and forms a eddy, which means they become more turbulent, so that the bacteria there can be just caught there, dust can be filtered, and it also helps in humidifying and warming the air, so that air is conditioned before it is going to the lungs. So watch, pay attention to that. Next, there are the sinus sprockets, 4 of them: maxillary sinus, sphenoid sinus, ethmoid sinus, frontal sinus. The air goes inside, it circulates, and then comes and then goes to the through the windpipe to the lungs. So you can feel the air moving in there. If you pay careful attention, you can observe all these things. These also have mucus lining in them. They secrete mucus inside. They help to trap any of these bacteria or suspended particles in the air, and later it will be removed. So you have to pay attention to these aspects as well. Pay attention, be watchful, be aware, just watch the breath, nothing else. You don't have to control. It does wonders. Simply watching the breath is a fantastic meditative technique also. Next is another very important thing. As the air gases past, when it reaches the top of the roof of the nasal cavity, you can see that there is this olfactory zone, which means there are a lot of smell receptors, millions of them in fact, and the air that is going in or coming out stimulates this region, and this region, the olfactory zone, is directly connected to the brain. So that is the olfactory cortex, and this is location is in such a place where it helps the relief from pain, be it be physical or emotional. So that is important. So watch this. This can stimulate the brain. That is important. Next, the air enters here. There is the portion behind, as you can see, and gets into the windpipe before it goes to the lungs. And then the lungs slowly expand. And now watch those phenomena also. We have 3 major cavities: thoracic cavity or the chest cavity, abdominal cavity, and below the pelvic cavity. All these 3 cavities are important in our breathing techniques. So just pay attention which cavity expands or contracts when you inhale or exhale. Pay attention. In general, when you inhale, the abdominal cavity expands. As you exhale, it contracts. Lungs also expand when you inhale, and as you exhale, they contract. Pay attention. Then look at this region, the diaphragm, which is the major muscle of breathing that divides the abdominal cavity from the chest cavity. Just pay attention to that, how the abdominal cavity expands. You see, diaphragm gets message from the breathing centers in the brain, and it contracts and flattens towards the abdomen, pressing the abdominal viscera down and thus allowing the lungs to expand. Then it relaxes into the chest, pressing the lungs, air comes out, abdominal cavity also contracts. That is the basic phenomena. Can you watch that? Just pay attention. This is an important thing. You must capture the movement of the diaphragm and feel. That is very, very important. And very closely you should observe what happens during this inhalation and exhalation. The abdominal cavity expands and then contracts as you exhale. Chest, there could be minimal movements in a relaxed breathing, see what is happening with you. Then pay attention to the posterior region. As you inhale and exhale, even the thick skin on your lower back, the lumbar fascia, that also responds to breathing. Whole idea is, can you feel that? Can you feel that lumbar fascia also? This is a very important thing because the lumbar fascia helps in the health of the lower back. So just pay attention to that. And then lastly, watch the warmth and humidity of the incoming air and the outgoing air. Incoming air and outgoing air, which is warmer, which is more humid, you will understand that incoming air is cooler than the outgoing air. Outgoing air is much warmer. Similarly, outgoing air is more humid than the incoming air. Can you feel that? Can you capture that? That is the most important thing. And find out these differences. Inhaled air and exhaled air. Inhaled air contains more oxygen. Exhaled air obviously contains less oxygen. There is less carbon dioxide in the inhaled air. Hopefully we breathe good air, and exhaled air naturally contains more carbon dioxide. Then inhaled air contains less water vapor. Exhaled air contains more water vapor. Inhaled air is cooler when you inhale, but of course when it goes in, it gets warmed up, conditioned, and goes to the lungs in a very healthy way. And exhaled air is warmer than the inhaled air. These things you should watch, and finally understand that this simple breathing, natural breathing, is a divine process. Imagine as if you are inhaling the pranic energy available in the cosmos into you, and as you are exhaling, imagine all the impurities in you is getting rid of. So please remember, watching the breath does lot of wonders. It is such a simple and safe, beautiful technique. Every day take some time, just watch the breath. You can do it anytime, anywhere. You just have to develop that presence of mind and become more and more aware of this phenomena, a divine phenomena called breathing. So this is the fundamental, most important step in learning other techniques of pranayama. You may open your eyes after the prayer if you have closed your eyes. Otherwise, close your eyes to offer our salutations to sage Patanjali. Take a deep breath. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarottam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi hari om. Shri Krishna Arpanamatu Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shubhamastu.